Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to Vetted with Irving Fryar and Hollis Thomas. I'm Irving. That's Big Dog Hollis. Yeah, we're going to have a great show for you today, full of content. But before that, we've got to read. Go ahead, Hollis. Take it away.
This is Hollis Thomas of Philly Sports Trips. You can go on phillysportstrips.com and order yourself a tender, awesome trip to anywhere whether the Eagles are going, because the Eagles schedule is out now. So don't waste any time and waiting until the game gets close. That's you.
That's not me.
Yes, it is.
That's not me.
Yes, it is.
Don't waste any time and waiting
until the game gets close. That is you.
That's down. Now that's me.
That's you.
No, I turned it up. That was me. That's
you.
Yeah.
That's me.
Yeah.
You sure?
It was you.
It was me?
Do it again.
Okay. Hollis Thomas of Philly Sports Trips. Go check us out on phillysportstrips.com and get yourself an Eagles trip. The Eagles schedule just came out a couple of weeks ago. We have a bunch of awesome trips. We stay in the best hotels, and you'll get to kick it with me and possibly some other Eagle greats and legends and whatnot. So go to phillysportstrips.com and check us out. Also, you can get my damn Skippy t-shirt on phillysportshirts.com. So go to Philly Sports Trips and get a trip, and go to Philly Sports Shirts and get a shirt. This is the Tank. Tell them the Tank sent you, and you heard it on A2D Radio.
That's the Tank. What is a tender trip? You said there was a
tender trip.
Yeah, what's a tender trip? Is that like
awesome.
What is that?
It means tremendous.
Okay.
It means something that you've never experienced before.
Okay.
We have things waiting for you. Like on the Kansas City trip, I'm going to the World War I Museum.
Okay.
You go with me to that one, because I throughout school I know all of us pretty much around the same era. They always would in history, we always would talk about World War II.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't even know that there was a World War I museum until we scattered out Kansas City.
Okay.
And it's in Kansas City. We're going to be doing some other stuff. We got John Dorbosh going to LA. They have a golf trip for the Tampa Bay area. So go on phillysportstrips.com and check it out. It's a list of things and a list of the guys that we have already procured for some of the trips, and there are going to be some surprises. We always find the Eagles bar, and it's the Eagles thing.
Okay.
Eagles fans go out and have a good time.
I'm just having a hard time grasping tender. When you're going to a World War I museum. I think of death when I think of World War. Any kind of war, you think of death.
But it's not your death. So.
No, it's not my death, but somebody died, they died for me.
Yeah, and you're learning. You're learning. I'm just saying.
Anyway, welcome to Vetted. Listen, everybody, come on in the room. You have any comments, please throw them up in the chat. You have any questions as we're talking today about the different topics we're going to be touching on, please throw them in the chat. Here's the agree to disagree today. If my man Ralph would throw that up there. Thank you, Ralph. Nick Nurse is the coach the Sixers need to win a championship.
Ooh.
Agree? Yeah. Ooh. Agree or disagree? Y'all throw that in the chat. Do you agree or disagree that Nick Nurse is the coach that the Sixers need to win a championship? Before we even get there,
okay.
Here's my question. Because everybody's talking about, and we're going to talk about Nurse and some of his history with the Raptors and, what he's going to do with Embiid and this team and all that. We're going to talk about that today. And that's not our normal stick either.
Right.
We're a football focused podcast, but we know a little bit about other sports as well. We know about competing.
Yeah, it's about competing. We have our opinions. It's a fan. We're with the fans. It's like this is our chance to show that we do watch the game. I watch the game closely, and I've watched our Sixers lazily play defense and turn the ball over at random, which pisses me off to no end, and I know it does to every other fan. I'm hoping since the doctor couldn't make him. Yeah, since the doctor couldn't make him stop turning. Yeah, since the doctor couldn't stop us from turning the ball over and losing leads late and make it and not have a quality rotation of players. I'm hoping that the nurse, normally the nurse could get it done and figure some stuff out.
Well, maybe the nurse can give you a happy ending.
To some, I don't know how to take that coming from the preacher, but I know you weren't always a preacher, but
Oh, don't misinterpret what I said. That's you went left. I didn't go left.
I didn't go left. I just paused the station identification. This is A2D Radio. But this is the one thing I've been looking at and I've been hearing about it, and I don't and watching the game and watching this whole process crap that everybody, you don't inundate losing and think that you're automatically going to turn around and start winning.
Thank you, because that's my question.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry for cutting you off, but my question is, everybody's talking about, okay, Nurse is the one that the Eagles need as a coach to bring in here to get NB straight and James Harden and Tobias Harris and to work on Maxey and get his shooting straight and confidence up. He's the one they need. My question is, are the Sixers even a legitimate contender for a championship next year? I don't see them as a legitimate contender for a championship next year. Will they win games? Yes. Will they get to the playoffs? Possibly, but will they get past the second round of the playoffs? Yeah. I mean, that's what Nurse was dealing with in terms of the Raptors when he got there. They were in the same boat the Sixers win. They kept hitting a ceiling in the playoffs, and he took them to the next level. They won a championship in 2019. But can he do that here in Philly? I don't know if he has what he needs to create a championship team. He's got 1.5 players, maybe 2 if you take 2 halves, because Maxey is not playing like he can play, and doesn't.
But do you put that on the coaching? Do you put that on the coach kind of holding him back? The coach kind of, I
don't see him being held back though, because I see him taking 3-point shots, and he's a good 3-point shooter.
Right.
He's one of the best in the league. But I see him taking 3-point shots, when he feels it. You see guys do what they do when they feel it. So he'll come down court and, everybody won't be down court. He'll take a 3-point shot. So I don't necessarily consider that the coach holding him back or putting shackles on his hands or keeping him from shooting or telling him he can only shoot at certain times. I just think that, Doc did not do anything to necessarily help him go to another level in his game. Will Nick Nurse be able to do that? Nick Nurse is a good coach. He's a no-nonsense coach. He knows how to be creative offensively. He demands great defense. Yeah. I mean, the Sixers were number 5 or 6. They had them 5 and 6 in the Eastern Conference. In the Eastern Conference, so they play good defense anyway.
Yeah, but when you look at a lot of times we turn the ball over. I want them to get the turnovers down. That's the main thing was we turned over the ball and then playing lackadaisical defense in the second half. We pretty much let people run through us. It's just like in the body language out there. I think having a new sheriff in town, as you know, when a new coach comes in, he didn't bring you here. So if you don't fit the bill, he has no qualms or trepidations about getting that ass out of here. And that's the one thing that and he doesn't have any relationship with any of these guys. So he's going to garner the respect because he's only coach that we brought in here recently that has recently won a title.
So do you think? So in what you just said, in relation to what you just said, no qualms or trepidations about getting rid of folk who don't produce. So do you think there's a 1-year trial and error period or season for Joel Embiid and James Harden? And if they don't step up their game, then there's the possibility that Nurse won't take the blame, but he'll get rid of them.
Well, I put it this way. I can see right now, I think Embiid is going to buy in because I think he wants to win, but he has to quit being, he needs somebody to stop him from being lazy. And so when you look at sometimes his body language, and he shouldn't need anybody. Dude, you're the most dominant player.
No, he's not.
He can't wait. Okay, let me take that back.
He could be.
Yeah,
he could be.
But he's being too damn nice. It's like, you know what? When I say nice is, he's out there on the 3-point line. You're supposed to be down. You're supposed to be putting people on notice down below, kicking the ass and taking names. You shouldn't be out there. You let them off the hook giving 3-point shots. We've seen them do it at times, but we need to see more consistency.
Here's my example of that, and I agree with you 100%. I think Joel Embiid was more concerned this year with winning the MVP than he was with winning a championship, because he felt as though he should have won the MVP last season, but he didn't. Everybody was touting him and, building him up and he didn't win it. It was a big disappointment to him. So he came into this season with the agenda and the goal of winning the MVP, but he forgot about championships. Because when you get into the playoffs, after you win the MVP, now it's your time to show everybody, I'm the MVP.
Exactly.
And you take it to the next level and you carry your team to the championship, or you carry your team as far as you can. He didn't carry his team. His game didn't go to another level.
No.
He continued to do some of the same things, dribbling the ball and 3-point shots and between the legs and all this kind of stuff that guards and forwards do, that a big guy who is 7 foot, 280 pounds, and is normally, in most nights, the biggest body on the floor should be down in the paint.
But with the agility he has too, down in the paint is where he should be at,
right,
killing fools and his footwork.
Right. But he doesn't need, they were taking the ball away from him. He was taking the ball away from him every time he put it on the floor.
Yeah.
So you don't need to be putting the ball on the floor. That's why. Okay, let me give you an example. You can compare Joel Embiid to a lineman in the NFL. All right, watch. Okay. I thought about this today.
What type of lineman? Offensive or defensive?
You can do defensive linemen.
Because if you're a defensive lineman, the one thing you can do, and it's like, and this is equate to what you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as you stand up, that offensive line has got his hands in your chest. Now we use another term for that. We say clear.
Clear.
Because yep. As soon as you stand up and you give him your chest, all you're gonna do is latch onto those numbers and take you for a fantastic voyage.
But here's my comparison to an offensive line or defensive lineman in the NFL and Joel Embiid. First of all, God made all of y'all big. Okay.
What you mean?
You're big. Look, you take up your screen. I take up a lot of mine, but you take up all of your screen. All right. And that camera's farther away from you than my camera is from me. So you guys were made big.
Right.
And there was a guy by the name of Steve Moore when I played in New England before you were born.
Yeah, a little bit
he's
before I was born.
Actually, he has passed on and gone on to be with the Lord.
It wasn't before I was born, though.
Okay.
I was.
When were you born?
I was 10 when you got drafted.
When were you born?
I was 10 when you got drafted.
You were 10 when I got drafted?
Yeah.
Okay. Dang, I played a long time, man.
You did. No, the funny thing is, it was like I remember it. That's why it was like I was a kid, and it didn't have the coverage that it has today. But
no way, yeah.
And I was like, and I felt just like you felt when I just said I was 10 when you got drafted. When I told you when Landy came up,
when London came up and you were still playing my son, yeah.
London came up to be at the Kansas City game. I was like, oh God.
You've been playing long enough.
Yeah, so time to jump on the water wagon.
Listen, I'm gonna get to my point. I'm going to come back with my point. We got to take a break for a commercial. Be right back.
Hey Birds fans, the NFL schedule has arrived and Philly Sports Trips has all the details now. Visit the site phillysportstrips.com. This is sure to be an epic season. Be sure to go there now to make sure that you don't get shut out. Join us in Tampa, LA, Seattle, or when we get revenge in Kansas City. Don't want to fly? No problem. Gather up your crew and hop aboard one of our signature boisterous bus trips to DC or New York. Sign up now and make sure to mention A2D. Don't miss out on the best Philly fan experience anywhere. Philly Sports Trip customers always stay at the best hotels and meet NFL legends. Book today.
All right. We're back, and I'm going to make my point.
Go ahead.
So I started the analysis or the comparison of an offensive or defensive lineman in the NFL with Joel Embiid, who's a big center, big man in the NBA. So I had a house guy by the name of Steve Moore. We called him House. He was big. He was an offensive lineman.
The House.
Yeah. He's gone on to be with the Lord.
Mm-hmm.
But House was a great athlete. I guess when he was younger, maybe in high school, he was possibly, maybe a linebacker, maybe a quarterback or something like that. But he could run. He could catch the ball. He could do all of that kind of stuff. He was very agile as a big man. He could do some of the things, not as fast, but he could still do them, the things that a receiver could do or a running back or a defensive back. So every now and then, and you see this in the NFL, every now and then there'll be like a trick play where they add, a lineman will be in, he'll leak out, and he'll catch the ball and score a touchdown on goal line defense or something like that. Just every now and then. But if you talk to House, Steve Moore, he wanted to be a receiver. He would come out with sweatbands on his wrist and all that kind of stuff. He was a lineman.
I did all that to look smooth.
Right. He wanted to look like a receiver, but guess where his home was? His home was in the trenches.
Hand in the dirt.
Just because he could do it, that doesn't mean he should do it.
Right. And
that's the same with Joel Embiid. That's the way linemen are. Yeah, there's some of them are great athletes, but you get some far and few in between who can do some other things. They can catch the ball, they can run, they can even run a route. But you do that just every now and then. You allow them to do that as a trick play or as an addition to what you already do. But their home is in the trenches. Joel Embiid is a giant. He is a big man. He wasn't made. God didn't make him to be a guard. He's not supposed to be handling the ball, dribbling it, putting it between his legs, and trying to do Euro steps and all that kind of stuff. Park your behind where your house is, down in the paint. Get the ball and dunk it on anybody who gets in the way. And if they get in the way, there's going to be pain. That's where he belongs, in the paint. He's got to stop all this other stuff, 3-point shots and fadeaways and Euro steps and, dribble and step back. Come on, man. You belong in the paint. How many 3-point shots did Shaquille O'Neal take? How many? Probably 3 in his whole career, if 3. But Shaquille O'Neal is one of the greatest basketball players ever to play basketball in the NBA. And Joel Embiid can be even greater if he puts his behind down in the paint and lives where he's supposed to in his house and rules down there like he can. He'll be even greater, and he'll be able to take just throw the ball down to him, take his team to the promised land.
Yeah. Do you think the nurse is going to be able to get him to believe
No, the nurse is not. Nobody's going, because that's not what he wants to do. He doesn't realize like I said, he wants to be the glamour. He wants the glamour. He wants the fame. He wants to be in the limelight. He wants the picture. He wants to be, the receiver running down the field, catching the ball and making the highlight film. The guys in the trenches don't get the highlights.
Yeah, I do. But but what to help? I was thinking of what you said about wanting to play offense. Yeah, I started out playing offense in high school. Got hit one time on the kickoff return, and defense, here I come. I wanted to be the nail, not the nail, but the hammer.
Well, you can be the hammer. You can be the hammer on offense too.
Not running back kicks.
Well, you have to initiate contact.
Yeah, they initiated contact.
Well, you got initiated.
I woke up on the side. I woke up freshman year. Woke up on the sideline.
Well, you were a freshman. As a freshman, you don't know.
I was playing on varsity.
So talk to me about Nick Nurse. What do you think he's going to bring to this Sixers team, and how far?
What I'm hoping.
Do you? Well, yeah. What you're hoping? What
I hope, because what I'm expecting really is for him to come in and give us a bit of toughness that we haven't had. Mm-hmm. We've been soft. We're soft as cotton. Soft. So when you look at us being pushed around, bullied around, we get the ball taken from us and stuff. We haven't had a plan. It's like we brought 2 guys. We let Brett Brown stay 2 years too long because he was a guy who we lost with. He was taking up the joint, and then we had him with Ben Simmons, his nephew, and Ben Simmons was taking up the joint. And nobody was holding anybody accountable. I feel like Nick Nurse is going to be the one guy who comes in here and tries to hold everybody accountable. And he's probably, it's like you have to be that jerk of a coach, because I'm not here to make friends. I'm here to win.
Yeah, but is that really going to happen, Hollis? Because word is that before Nick was hired, some of the higher ups in the Sixers organization called in Joel Embiid and asked him how he felt about them hiring.
But he
Nick.
wants to play for Nick Nurse.
I understand that, but he's a player. Listen, I'm management. You do what I tell you to do. I'm paying you. You go out and play. If I bring a new coach in here, you play for that coach. I don't need to ask you if I'm who to hire and who not to hire. You're the player.
His contract is guaranteed, so you better try to get somebody.
I don't care if his contract's guaranteed. See, that's the problem, though. That's the problem. We put the power in the hands of the players,
yeah,
and that's why things are all backwards.
But the thing I did like was the fact that he gave it the go ahead, because I think he knows that he needs somebody to push him, needs somebody that's going to get the best out of him. It's going to be some times where you're not going to always like each other. It's not going to be a lovey-dovey type thing.
Yeah, but if you soft, man. Mr. Softy.
Yeah, you can't get the tenderness out of some people. Huh?
Right.
But
you can try to put them in the heat. You can try to put them in a hot situation and toughen them up. But no, usually they fold.
Yeah, but what I'm thinking, what I'm feeling is that get rid of the turnovers and make some quality decisions. It's like it's oftentimes that we have bad timeouts, so it look like we had a timeout and I don't even know what the hell we took a timeout for, because you come right out and you turn the ball over, and
Right.
And sometimes,
right. I've seen that often.
Yeah.
And that's coaching.
Yeah.
That's coaching because they come out of a timeout, and as soon as they come out, they throw the ball in and turn it over.
Yeah.
How do you do that when you just got finished talking about what you're going to do, and you have something orchestrated on the sidelines? How do you come in and screw it up?
Yeah, and
that's because that's bad coaching,
right?
And that's also attitude of the players.
Yeah, and this is the third coach. So with this group of people, so I'm pretty sure that management is going to be is on the hot seat as well. This is the third coach with this bit of management. The second coach with David, the David guy, and they still got what's the kid's name? The guy with the bad smile. It always looks fake. He played at Duke.
I don't know who you're talking about.
It's he's Elton Brand.
Yeah.
It's gonna be time. It's gonna be time to move on from them guys and get somebody in there.
Well,
you're pretty much gonna have to really truly in a real true teardown, not the crap that Hinkie was doing. Everybody kept on, I was like, get the hell out of here. He won another contract for doing absolutely nothing.
You still didn't answer my question.
Okay.
My question is,
do I think
are the Sixers a legitimate contender to win a championship next year?
If they get out of the second round. Oh, so I'm gonna answer that question.
If they get out of the second round. Of course, if they get out of the second round.
The straight answer currently right now, given the state of the tape, no. It's like this is because I'm not gonna blow smoke up anybody's rump, but it's like we constantly get put out in the second round. You did the tear down, the quote unquote what is the project? What is it?
Mm-hmm.
The process. We did the process
yeah.
to get
the
process.
Out of the process
round.
Ain't working.
Yeah, we did the process. We tore our team down, and we got some of the guys that we got rid of who were still young at the time have gone on to either play in the finals and win, or play in a couple of finals. And we constantly kept getting rid of guys, and we never built our own core.
Right.
We built a young core of guys that other guys wanted to come in and play with that young core guys and win.
Well, you know what? Nurse is not scared to use the bench. He had those a few years ago bench bullies or whatever they call them.
Yeah,
he's not scared to use the bench. Although the last couple of years he didn't use the bench really at all.
Because he didn't really have those guys.
Right, he didn't really have. Yeah,
and the one guy who I think that if James Harden leaves, and I think everybody wants James Harden to leave because
I want James Harden to leave.
It's like the kid Van Vliet.
Mm-hmm. I think Harden is a poison.
He's over the hill.
Team.
You think he's over the hill?
Well, he's 33.
Yeah,
he's 33, and he's not getting younger. Obviously,
right.
He's not going to get quicker. Obviously, and his level of intensity. Just his whole countenance. When you look at him,
he doesn't look like he's trying.
Yeah, he doesn't look like he's trying at all.
At all. And to me, as a fan, when I'm watching the game, and I put myself in the fans' position, like, dude, what the hell are you out to do? I paid all my money. I wasted a day off of work.
Right,
I could have been watching 2 ants wrestling honey, and you got me here watching this crap.
He throws the ball away, he turns the ball over, he misses shots. He's always complaining. Well, everybody misses shots, but he's always complaining about fouls. He gets fouled. He lays on the floor. The ball's going back down the other end of the court. Yeah. Get your butt up. Go play defense. Stop whining to the referees or the umpires, whatever you call them.
Yeah. Speaking of referees, Eric Lewis. Huh?
Oh,
we don't start controversy here. It just happens.
Right. Stop.
It happens.
Yeah.
He's not going to be officiating any of the finals.
I guess not. There is trouble in paradise.
Yes, big time. Yeah. Especially when you look at the disparity. And the funniest thing is when people you notice it. When you watch the game, it's like, hey, wait a minute, you didn't call that on the other end. Right. It's like, come on, man.
And sometimes it's so obvious, it raises the question, okay, are these games being manipulated? Are there really things that are happening because so much money changes hands during these competitive events that people can be influenced?
The funniest thing is listening to the commentators when there was one game I was watching. They was like, he fouled. Oh, He thought, he was like, there's a foul. And they was playing the replay.
And they didn't call anything.
What they called the foul, but the person that they called the foul on literally did not touch him. There was
At all.
so much space in between them, it wasn't funny. It's kind of like when the official from the other end zone throws a holding call all the way up and the plays on the other 20.
Wow.
I was like, how did, it was one time that happened. I said, how the hell did you see that from way back there? I was like, but you can't see somebody right here in the middle getting drugged down before the ball gets there. So
right.
It's one of those things where officials are supposed to be seen and not heard, and they shouldn't. It's like it's starting to get to the point where when they start posting who the officials are going to be,
pretty soon AI is going to take over the games and officiate. Games.
because it's like you keep getting guys who keep getting caught with their hands in the cookie jar, so to speak.
And AI doesn't make a mistake. You know, the eye in the sky doesn't lie. I see you, Q Sims.
Oh we have a bunch
Damian is on, and James is on. Who else is on? Who else you see? Wayne Miller.
I see Wayne. I see Don.
James.
Yep.
Monsanto.
I see A. James Harden is more soft than Joel Embiid.
Hollis, you got another read.
Oh, yeah, I got another read. Yeah. This is Hollis Thomas with Philly Sports Trips, and the Eagles schedule has just come out. So go to phillysportstrips.com. We stay at the best hotels. We have the awesomest flights and some of the more awesome tailgates known to man. And you might see myself or some other Eagles legend or somebody that you might want to see. And we have tremendous excursions as well on the day before the game. And we have a quality happy hour. And Vincent Rizzuto will be waiting for you with baby breath to take your – you like that? You put baby breath to take your reservation at phillysportstrips.com. And don't forget to go get my damn Skippy t-shirt on phillysportshirts.com. And you could tell them that the tank sent you and you heard it on A2D radio.
All right, next week when we come on, we're going to have the damn Skippy shirts on.
Okay, cool.
All right, I'm going to wear mine. Mine's in the other room. I was going to go get it. When you mentioned it, the first section, our first shoot, first part of this show, I'm sorry. I was going to get up and go get it, but I didn't want to leave the set. Listen, we have other things we want to talk about today, but I see my man Robert Toporek is in the green room, so we want to bring him in. Listen, everybody, we have something very special going on Monday, June 5th. Hollis and myself, A2D Radio, are doing something very special at the Pennsauken Free Library with a group called or organization called Team Children, and that's run by Mr. Robert Toporek. I've worked with him many years ago, and he's back still doing the same thing, providing computers for the libraries, for children, for adults, for those who need them. And he's provided computers for over 20 since 1993 or 1998. 23,000 people have been blessed by this man. So we want to bring him in because we're doing a promotion with him on Monday at the Pennsauken Library. All right. And that's in Pennsauken, New Jersey. The mayor's going to be there. We're going to be there at 9:00, starting at 9:00. If you're around in the area, please show up. Hollis, myself will be there. We'll be signing autographs and taking pictures. Mr. Robert Toporek. What's going on, Robert? How are you doing?
I'm doing really fine. It's good to see you, Irving.
Yeah, long time no see, man. Long time. We used to work together when I was at the Eagles.
That's true. It was a great time.
Yeah. We served, I think, was it like 80,000 people?
Yep.
Yeah, we took care of like 80,000 people. It's good to see you still doing this, man. You've been doing this for years now. My goodness, I'm retired for 23 years, and you were doing it before then. So how are things going? What's going on with you?
Well, we're in a interesting position. Our landlord sold our building. And so we're in a struggle to find a new building. And we've now distributed 23,000 computers. I am doing everything I can to raise money and find a new building to move into. It hasn't been that easy yet. And I'm still saying a prayer every day. And I'm looking forward to Monday because we're going to bring a bunch of laptops out to the Pennsauken Library. Yeah,
we have 23 for Monday, don't we?
You do have 23, and they're loaded with educational software for every kid.
Well, listen, Robert, anytime, and we know this, we talked before, anytime you're doing something positive, you're always going to have some resistance from those who don't want it to happen. So You're going to be all right. We're going to make sure that we do everything that we can do to help you get in a position of security so you can keep doing what you're doing. There's a program that is provided by the schools, by the library called STREAM. STREAM program is science, technology, reading, engineering, arts, and mathematics. Listen, 44%. I want everybody to hear this. 44% of people living below the federal poverty line use libraries for the internet and for computers. And this man right here, Robert Toporek, we need all of you, anybody who can, to come by on Monday, this coming Monday, June 5th at 9:00 a.m. We'll be there at the Pennsauken Library, free library. I don't even know if the library in my area is still open, but the free library in Pennsauken, we need you to come by and support. All right. Find out how you can support this man and this cause, Team Children. Man, it's good to see you, Robert. It really is.
You too. I miss you, buddy.
All right. So how can people reach you? How can people connect with you?
They can go to our website, teamchildren.org. Team Children is one word. Or they can call me on my cell phone, which is 484-744-1868. We're clearing out our technology center because we have to downsize. We have about 100 laptops left. We're charging $100 administrative fee for each laptop, and anybody that needs one can get one. Recently, Big Brothers and Big Sisters sent out an email blast, and we helped about 25 or 30 families from Big Brothers, Big Sisters. Mm-hmm. And I didn't realize how many families with Big Brothers and Big Sisters have children with developmental challenges, but there are a lot of them. It's really amazing.
Wow. So what can people do before you go, we gotta get you out the show. No, but before you go, what can people do? What's most important for people to do to support you and what it is you need for your organization, for Team Children to keep on going?
Well, there's two things I need. I need people to go to my website and make a contribution. We're trying to raise another $25,000. And we need more companies to donate laptops. So right now, SEI in Oaks, SAP in Newtown Square, and Wawa are our major source of laptops. We're no longer doing desktops or anything else. And so if you have a company and you have some excess laptops and you want to donate them, just give me a call and we'd love to have them.
Wow. That's awesome what you're doing. And everybody, listen, this man has been doing this forever. Like Hollis said, forever, because he started right before I got an opportunity to meet him and join up with him back in 1998. And he's been doing it ever since then, which is absolutely, Robert, absolutely amazing, man. Absolutely amazing. God doesn't make people like you anymore. Or I should say he does make people, but they're very far and few in between people like you that exist anymore, who have a heart for other people, who genuinely give their lives in an attitude of servitude. And man, we really do appreciate you. And we're going to be there Monday with bells on, trying to raise money for you, helping you raise money, and anything that we can do. And like I said, anything I can do, please let me know. We're with you.
Do that.
All right.
Thank you.
All right. We look forward to seeing you Monday, my friend.
Thank you for having me.
All right.
Later, Rob.
All right, we're back. That's a great cause, y'all.
Good time.
If you're watching, I had an opportunity to work directly with him back when I played with the Eagles, and we had it was just great. 80,000 people. We helped 80,000 people while I was with him in just a couple of years.
Wow.
And in just a couple of years, we touched 80,000 people. It was awesome. It was awesome. And this is an organization you probably never heard about. Something that's happening that you did not even know that existed. But we don't do what we do for others to get credit for it. We do it because it's the right thing to do. There are people who need help. There are children. For me, it doesn't make sense, Hollis, that we live in a country. First of all, we're supposed to be the richest, most powerful country in the world.
Right.
And we have all of these people in poverty. That doesn't make sense. We have people who need food. We have people who need clothing. We have a homeless problem in the United States of America. That doesn't make sense to me.
You know why it doesn't make sense?
I'm listening.
Because there are more vacant houses in America than there are homeless people.
Right. Why? Because they can't afford them.
It's I don't know. We just continue to take care of everywhere else except for home.
Well, it's
always been
and somebody's probably going to get mad at me for saying this, but the rich keep getting richer and the poor get poorer. They're eventually there's not going to be a middle class in the United States, and I know we're off topic.
Yeah, because you see me looking around. I'm like, they keep. I want to be a Debbie Downer here.
Well, these are some of the things I like to talk about.
Okay,
but let's talk about
DeAndre Hopkins.
Okay, go ahead.
Let's talk about DeAndre Hopkins.
All right.
I know I don't know if I mentioned it to you about DeAndre Hopkins. You know, he hired the Slim Reaper's agent.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool.
He was representing himself.
And
in a few interviews, he said that they were asking him, whose passes would you like to catch? And the number one name he kept saying was Jalen Hurts. Everybody keeps.
Who wouldn't right now?
I know, but the funniest thing too is like everybody keeps talking about like Buffalo, Kansas City.
Oh, they're talking
all the other salacious teams.
But even when you look at Buffalo and you look at Kansas City, okay, if I'm DeAndre Hopkins, this will be my 11th year in the league. Okay, I've been kind of supporting just marginal quarterbacks, just kind of getting by. But I've had some.
He's been Larry Fitzgeralding it up.
Yeah, but he's had some great seasons. Let me give you some of his stats. He's had this will be his 11th year. Okay, He was 10 years with the Texans, 3 years with the Cardinals. 4 seasons, he's had 4 seasons with 100+ catches. 3 of those were with the Texans, 1 with the Cardinals.
Right.
He's had 6 seasons out of those 10 with 1,200+ yards in receptions. 5 with the Texans, 1 with the Cardinals. Then he's had 3 seasons with double-digit TDs, all with the Texans. So if I'm him, this is my 11th season. I've been the man for a while. I have an opportunity. Now. Now I'm at this late in the game in terms of the free agency and all, or being able to get picked up. He's not going to get $20 million.
Well, he's going to get a fair contract.
He's going to get a fair contract
because of his skill set.
Right, but if it had happened earlier, he would have gotten more money.
Right.
So this late in the game, he's not going to get the money he would have gotten if it happened 2 months ago. But in my 11th year. Okay, I've been the man. Well, he's going to go where he feels he has the best opportunity to win a Super Bowl
and to make a contribution.
Right. Which team is the best team right now, in your opinion, that has the best chance to win the Super Bowl next year or this year?
Us?
Yes, the Eagles.
The funny
so
thing
do I want to go with Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs when I'm the only other guy over there? Or at my 11th season, do I want to go in and be the third receiver and make a contribution?
But see, okay, this is how I thought about it, because I know where you're going, because you're thinking of it's like because you came here like your 11th or 12th season, right?
Yeah,
but you were the man.
Well, I was the man because I was still hungry.
Yeah.
I just come off 3 years of Miami. I came out of 9 years with New England, but I didn't catch any balls in New England because we didn't run that type of offense.
Right.
And I got a taste of what a real receiver was all about in Miami.
Right.
So when I came here, I was like, yeah, y'all, if I'm not going to be the man, I'm not coming. But that's what Gruden told me when they were talking to me. He's like, no, we're going to make you the number 1 receiver. I'm like, okay, cool.
Yeah. So he's made a lot of money. He's carried a bunch of QBs. This is an opportunity for him to go somewhere where
win a championship.
Yeah, win a champion and win. It's like he's been all those teams they've been losing, and every team that everybody's picked. And I'm kind of biased, but I see I'm kind of biased because for the Birds, but I see because we had Quez Watkins last year.
I was going to say, you just replace Quez Watkins and the catches that he didn't make at the times he didn't make them, and put DeAndre Hopkins in that position. And tell me he would not have been satisfied with that season.
I think he would have been well satisfied.
He would have been well satisfied.
Because a lot of times we didn't go to Quez because we didn't have the confidence in him. We went to him because he was the only thing open at times.
Can you imagine this team? First of all, we need depth at receiver. They talk about that we need depth at guard. And yes, we do, particularly the right guard. Right. We need depth. Yes, we do. But receiver is also in a position that we need depth because right now, the only legitimate receivers we have, yes, they're both stars. Yes, they're above average, well above average receivers, is A.J. Brown and DeVonta Smith. Yeah. After that, you got Zacchaeus, whatever that cat's name, Zacchaeus. Yeah. They got Devin Allen, Greg Ward, Britton Covey, Quez Watkins. We don't have a third receiver. Can you imagine what was going to happen to this team? And plus, it gives us depth. So if one of those two starters goes down, now we have somebody who's a legitimate starter that can come in and we don't miss a beat. Yes, DeAndre will come. People are talking about not necessarily DeVonta Smith because they say, you know, he's low-mannered, low-key. You know, he's more like Jalen. He's really a team-oriented guy. Right. If I get 2 catches, I'm okay. If I get 10 catches, doesn't matter. As long as
he gets the W.
Right. As long as he gets the W. He's more concerned about wins than he is statistics, individual statistics. Now, people are talking about A.J. Brown and how that one particular game he was pouting because they were killing. I guess it was the Giants they were killing, and he wasn't getting catches. Listen, winning requires sacrifice. Yeah. Okay? And if A.J. Brown is that selfish, that if they were to bring in DeAndre Hopkins, that he's concerned about right now.
I don't think he's concerned about that.
All these cats are making plenty of money. You make plenty of money, so money is not the issue. Right now, the target is a championship. And whatever we can do and whoever we can do it with, particularly if we can enhance ourselves with a guy like this, bring his behind in here.
Big time. Can
you imagine what this team will be like with DeAndre Hopkins as the third wide receiver? He gets the third DB covering him.
Yeah, Nate, normally not that good.
Unbelievable. And then don't forget about the tight end. What's his name?
Dallas
Goedert. Yes. Dallas Goedert.
Yeah.
Don't forget about Dallas. He's an up and coming star.
Not to mention the running back core.
Right. So can you and Swift? Yep. So can you imagine?
Rashard Penny.
Yep. So can you Boston Scott?
Kenneth Gainwell.
Yep. Gainwell. So can you imagine what that does to a defensive coordinator? What that does to a defense?
Nightmares.
Yeah.
Complete and utter.
Yeah. I think that does more. Bringing DeAndre Hopkins is because these are the 2 areas on offense that we need depth: offensive guard and wide receiver. We do need. I've never heard anybody in all of the interpretations I've heard, all of the sports shows I've heard, I've never heard anybody say anything about depth that's needed for the Eagles wide receivers.
I know.
We got 2. What if one of them goes down? Quez Watkins is going to go on and start.
Dear God, no.
Greg Ward's going to go on and start. Devin Allen.
I'm more comfortable with
Britton Covey. Come on, man.
No, Ward is a bit proven. So.
But he's not a starter.
He'll start for a couple of games. You know?
But I'm saying it's a significant drop-off.
You think?
Yes. There's a significant drop-off if Ward is going to start on. Now they're double-teaming A.J. Brown.
Yeah.
Or they're double-teaming DeVonta Smith. Because I ain't got double-team Ward. I ain't got to worry about Ward.
And then Dallas Goedert should make him pay. Man, just run the ball down the throat. You make concessions where you need to.
Listen, first of DeAndre, I think DeAndre Hopkins. I hear, man, gosh.
But this is the thing too. All I've heard is AFC teams. That's all they've been talking about is the AFC teams, and they were just working my nerves. So,
listen, Howie needs to get on the ball.
He probably is already on it.
And I've heard, because nobody's really hearing anything. That's how Howie moves. He moves in silence.
That'd be the funniest stuff. You know, the funniest things known to man is like all of a sudden everybody's talking about all these other teams and all these other teams, and wow, swoop, swoop, pow, pow, pow.
Here comes Howie.
They get bamboozled.
Yeah,
you gonna get. It's like you gonna get DeAndre Hopkins and somehow finagle a pick out of somebody.
But I hear some of these experts talking about.
Those are not experts. Those are just people.
But man, people consider them experts because people listen to them.
I don't. You know.
I don't listen to them, but I listen to what they're saying, and to me, it sounds like a bunch of foolishness when they talk about. Okay, you got to be careful because he comes in, he's going to have a problem in the locker room. And AJ Brown better get his act together and get with the program and be a team player so we can win a championship. I care about AJ Brown's attitude and how many catches he makes. We're trying to win a championship.
I don't think, and he hasn't said anything to that point.
No, he hasn't. So people are just making assumptions.
Making assumptions.
And even with that whole scenario with him on the sidelines pouting, so to speak, last year.
I don't even think he's pouting. It's kind of like to me, it was kind of like, okay, so it was one particular game I was playing in. Everybody had a sack except for one guy. And he was like, man, I want to join the reindeer game.
Right.
Right. And that's just pretty much how I took it. It was like, I want one too. And that's great. You want your players to want to score and want to win.
But but if they don't, as long as we get the W, it doesn't matter because again, defensive coordinators change up every week.
Yeah.
So there's going to be a focus on the left, a focus on the right, a focus on this player. They're going to try to take away that player, and you have to adjust on the go. But what's most important is the outcome of the game. That we have more points on the board than they do.
Yep.
You got another read there, my friend.
Oh
no. I'm sorry. No. We're going to the last commercial. It's commercial. Go ahead, Ralphie. You got it.
Hey, Birds fans, the NFL schedule has arrived and Philly Sports Trips has all the details now. Visit the site phillysportstrips.com. This is sure to be an epic season. Be sure to go there now to make sure that you don't get shut out. Join us in Tampa, LA, Seattle, or when we get revenge in Kansas City. Don't want to fly? No problem. Gather up your crew and hop aboard one of our signature boisterous bus trips to DC or New York. Sign up now and make sure to mention A2D. Don't miss out on the best Philly fan experience anywhere. Philly Sports Trip customers always stay at the best hotels and meet NFL legends. Book today.
All right, we're back. Listen, we've been fussing and arguing and debating and talking and discussing. It's good. Good to see. Somebody said, preach, Irving Fryar. Who was that?
Somebody said that. Little boy Dan Wood. There's Damon.
Don.
Yep.
Who is Don? Who's Don?
I want to try to figure it out just to mention his name.
So A says Harden looks out of shape. You know what? Yes, he does look out of shape, A, but you know what? I think he doesn't care. He doesn't care. It's a disconnect that he has. And his mind is just not in it. He's an older guy now, and to me, he moves really slow on the floor. He doesn't play at the level that he used to play 4 years ago. The last 3 years, he really has declined in his game. He's a former NBA MVP. And can you imagine how he played that MVP year? He was taking over games, shooting. He was moving fast. There was urgency in his movements. There was excitement in everything that he did. In order to win the MVP, there's a lot of great players in the NBA. So if you're touted as or voted in as the MVP, man, you were doing some stuff.
Yes, and you were handling business.
It was extra stuff. You were doing some great stuff. So he's not there anymore, and I believe he's far from that. And he's going to continue to decline. Because let me ask you a question: do you think that Harden's going to have an off season where he's working real hard and he's trying to get better and, he's focusing on the next year? Or do you think Harden, and this is just our opinion, do you think Harden's just going to, have an off season, work out a little bit, but just enough so he comes, in some kind of shape when he reports. He's going to be in some kind of shape when he reports. But at 33 years old, you're in shape when you're 33, particularly even playing like that. So he's going to play some pickup games and do a little bit of this and a little bit of that just to stay in a little bit of shape. But he's not coming in. He's not going to come into the league or to the season next year and have a better year next year than he did this year. He will not. I guarantee you that. I guarantee you that. He will not have a better year next year than he did this year. He will not. He will not.
I don't know. It may be the same. It may be just a little bit better.
I can't see it being better because, again, as you get older, having played in the NFL 17 years, in order to maintain, man, you got to work. You got to work hard, and every year you got to work harder. Even at 60 years old now, I'm not trying to play football in the NFL, but I'm trying to stay in shape.
Right.
And you got to work hard, man, and it's harder to work hard. And I just don't see that in James Harden.
You don't see that in his DNA.
No, I don't see that in James Harden.
I totally get that. So, to me, I think you kind of move on from that. To me personally, but I don't know what the Sixers can do about that as far as we hold all the cards for him. I don't think they should give him a max deal personally.
They shouldn't give him nothing. Yeah. To my point, the Sixers are not a team that are a legitimate contender for an NBA championship next year. They're not. There's Tobias. Tobias Harris is Tobias Harris. He
sucks.
Exactly.
You didn't want to say it, but they chose him over Jimmy Butler.
Come on, man.
Serious.
Yeah, somebody made a big mistake, huh?
Big time.
Somebody made a big mistake.
Some of the people are still in the building.
Maxey, when Maxey was at Kentucky, man, he was a beast.
Yeah.
He hasn't played like that since he's been in the NBA.
Because they're holding him back.
He hasn't played like that since he was at the NBA.
He's had some 30-point games.
Yeah, but just a couple. It's not a consistent thing, man, where he can be the beast that he was when he was in college.
And to get some consistency, you gotta have the coaches believing in you and giving you that confidence, because as good as they can give you the confidence, they can take it away by sitting your ass down.
You know who is the most consistent player in the playoffs for the Sixers?
Really?
PJ Tucker.
Yeah, nobody gives a damn.
I know. Exactly. He was the most consistent player out of all the players. Then you got the league MVP, you got a former league MVP, you got a superstar coming out of college, Kentucky, who was a great three-point shooter. None of them were consistent in the playoffs. PJ Tucker was the only player who played in the playoffs for the Sixers this year who was consistent.
Well,
that was it.
He was self-check.
Okay.
They were letting him shoot, literally.
Well, he was busting it too.
On occasion.
He was busting it too. Yeah, he likes the corner.
Every once in a while. You could probably
he's not
count on one hand how many shots he hit.
Yeah, but he was just being who he is. He's not a game-breaking player.
But
he's not a superstar. He's just a contributor.
But you paid $21 million for that.
And he consistently, well, that's just what they're yielding. That's not my problem. God bless him. You know, if he's making $21 million for shooting the ball a couple of times a game, God bless you, PJ Tucker. God bless you, man. Listen,
I think he's a good player, but
he's an average player.
I know he's better than average.
You think he's better than average? Yeah, Why? Because he plays good defense?
He does the dirty work that nobody wants to do.
All right. Yeah.
And he does the dirty work.
That sets him apart. That puts him above average.
Because you need those type of role players. I feel like he was doing his role. If you want to say that he fulfilled his role.
Well, yes.
He's the only one that really truly did that.
Right.
But we got to the same place that we've been getting before this process started. So it's safe to say that the process has been a completed utter failure.
And we got to the same place and was stymied before the process started. And we got to this place with the league MVP on our team. And he didn't do anything.
The funniest thing about that is that I think they thought that Doc Rivers would put us over the top, and he got us to the exact same place 3 years in a row.
No, Doc. I think Doc at some point, not even this year, well, maybe in the early part of this year. No, it was last year. Doc lost control and could not figure out how to get it back. He was non-influential with his players, particularly. I mean, you watch them when they're on the sidelines, and Doc is a timeout, and Doc is trying to instruct the team, whether he's trying to give them a player, whether he's trying to encourage them, or whether he's trying to inject into them something in terms of a strategy. And you see James Harden, he's not even looking at Doc. He's not even looking at Doc. Joel Embiid is talking to somebody else.
First of all, they're not the first players to do that.
Well, I understand that.
When Doc was coaching, I heard this from
maybe that's why he got fired from his prior job.
A quality source in Boston, that the players were on the side, coach the team on the sideline and making adjustments. And
there's nothing wrong with that if you've got some veteran players who know what's going on the floor and are seeing something that the coach doesn't see. I mean, there were plenty of times I've come to the sidelines and got on the phone and called Gruden. Listen, this is what I can do. This is what they're doing. This is what I see. Boom, boom, boom. And then he calls a play in favor of what I was saying and seeing on the field. But I was a veteran player at the time, so he trusted my opinion. So there's nothing wrong with that as a coach, relying on your players or trusting your players' opinion and what they're seeing. If they're veteran players and know what's going on. When they're young players, they just want the ball. They just want to shoot it. But and that's just a smart coach. That's a smart coach who trusts his players.
Now I got some some stuff from the people, from our brethren. Somebody was like, Damian Hernandez says that Nick Nurse is nothing different from Doc. Just look at what he did after the Toronto. He did nothing after the Toronto championship.
Right.
Somebody said we need to trade James Harden. That was Gregory said we need to trade. Pete says, I'm honestly concerned that this guy his only accomplishment is beating the Warriors without KD, Clay, and Steph in Game 7.
Well, in 2019 when they won the championship,
right?
He did that whole box in one thing to shut down Steph Curry.
Yeah,
he did. I thought he did a good job with that, because that led them to a championship, and that's when Steph Curry was really hot.
And I think it's a lot of people are in there saying James and some other people are saying that we need to just let James Harden go back to Houston. Let him go to let him go to a few strip clubs and stuff.
What's interesting to me, everybody's talking about this book that Nick Nurse wrote, and in the book it talks about how to defend Joel Embiid. Right. And that Joel Embiid is an emotional player, and if he doesn't get off to a good start in a game, he usually withers away and is not effective the rest of the game. But if you look at what happens between the Raptors and the Sixers, right, from going back to October 2019, they played 4 times, right, and the Sixers won 3 out of 4. So how effective was the strategy?
It wasn't that effective, but the thing is Alvin Williams was saying that he demands a hard training camp, and he demands you to play defense. I think that's the one thing that we play quality defense, right, but we don't play like kick your ass,
aggressive defense,
shut down defense.
Aggressive defense.
And then it's a lot of times late in the game that I hate the fact that we're letting people just like kick us in the teeth,
right?
And come back on this. It's like sometimes it's like somebody goes off to the side and puts ice on their leg and stuff, and then all of a sudden the other team is coming back. It's like, come on, man,
they don't want to play no more. Listen. Yeah. We're gonna come back next week, y'all, with some hot topics as well.
Wait a minute,
I'm sure. I know. Wait, no. Okay. I'm not going off. I'm gonna get to you, man.
Okay.
I got you, dude. I got you.
Okay.
Let me do this.
Okay. Go ahead. I'm letting you navigate.
We're gonna get back to the football stuff, to the sports stuff next week, y'all. We thank you for being on with us today, but it's time to go to Hollis's history.
Today is June the 1st, 2023. It's the 152nd day of the year. There's only 213 of these puppies left. Today's national holidays are Oscar Grouch Day. It's Flip a Coin Day and Say Something Nice Day.
Flip a coin and say, what do you mean? Flip a coin and do I say something nice if it's heads? If I say something bad if it's head, tails?
I don't know. I got a couple of events here for you. 1495, the very first written record of Scotch whiskey. One of my bourbon brothers, my bourbon Scotch brothers, Fred Barnett, who's probably watching. It appeared in Scotland Fryar by John Core.
Wow.
He was the distiller. In 1980, CNN began.
In 1980, CNN
began on this,
on this day,
June
2nd, or was it June 1st? Yeah.
And it was the first phone service, the first payphone service in 1880 in the U.S. in Connecticut. And then also John Kevorkian got out of prison in 2007.
The killer, the doc killer.
Yeah, he served 8 years of a 25-year sentence.
Wow, he got out when?
In 2007.
I thought he was going to jail for life, man.
And this is what you had earlier. You had a moment where you start talking about politics. In 1869, Thomas Edison was granted a patent for the electric voting machine. It was patent number 90,646.
Wow.
A couple of quick birthdays for you. 1926, Marilyn Monroe. 1937, Morgan Freeman. 1961, Mark Curry. 1973, Heidi Klum. I don't know if you play with Santana Moss. Today is his birthday. There's also Amy Schumer birthday, and it's my buddy Dirk Johnson, former Eagle punter Dirk Johnson, and one of my former line mates, Shetcher Man Pleaser, Brandon Villarreal, Be Real is Be Real birthday. He played with me. He was an undrafted free agent at the University of Purdue. He played with me down in New Orleans. He was one of my buddies. I love the guy. He's a coach now. He's somewhere in Texas. I don't know.
Somewhere in Texas.
We talk to each other every once in a while, but it's a happy birthday, Be Real. That's what I got for you.
I got an interesting story for you about Dr. Kevorkian. So back when the doc started killing people, right? My agent at the time, his name was Michael George Kevorkian.
Oh,
he's Armenian as well. Matter of fact, kind of looked like Dr. Kevorkian. I told him, I said, you look like you related to him. But he was my agent before Dr. Kevorkian became famous. So Doc started killing people, so my agent changed his name from Michael George Kevorkian to Michael George. So because he couldn't get any clients.
I forgot about this one. Wanderlust, written by Danielle Steele, was published today. That's Wanderlust in 1986.
Wanderlust. I got a little history for the day too, y'all. I want to thank all the voters. I was named to the Philly Sports Hall of Fame today.
Congratulations.
Yeah. I got a phone call today, man.
You don't have to be nice to anybody.
That was a big surprise. Yeah, I was wondering, do I need to be nice? You know, as I analyze some of these current players, do I need to be nice now?
No.
So because, I don't want that taken away from me. It's a great honor, though. Yes. Anybody, if you're watching, if you had anything to do with the voting, thank you very much. That's the ceremony is going to be in November. But it's a great honor today, great day today. Listen, we had a great show today. This is Vetted with Irving Fryar and Hollis Thomas. I'm Irving. That's my dude over there, Hollis. We'll see you next week, next Thursday, 5 p.m. right here on A2D Radio.